Check 1 2, check 1 2. Mind me on the rocks. Casey Chops. Make sure you follow us on Instagram at MIA on the rocks. Follow us on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button. Today's guest, moving and shaking, dotting and bopping. DJ Felva, what's up, Felva?
What up, my G? How are you?
Good, bro. For the people that don't know, Felva, producer, DJ throughout the city. He DJs throughout the city, and he just got a big placement. He just produced that song for Yailin and Randy, the Somos Panas joint, a dope little perreo joint. That shit is moving. I played it at Copper Blues. Some good new music.
How'd it sound? How'd it sound?
Some good perreo, bro. Like, we needed that, bro. So yeah, it sounded good, bro. Shit, bro. So you got that credit out, and you've been doing your thing for a minute, bro.
Yeah.
First of all, where are you from? Are you
I was born in Quito, Ecuador.
Okay.
And
you're 100% Ecuadorian?
No, I was born in Quito, Ecuador, and then my father's from Bogotá, Colombia.
Okay.
And my sister, so I'm half and half. But
okay.
we came to Miami when I was 2 years old. So I grew up in Miami. Like all my life, basically. I used to do summer times, like a summer with los abuelitos in Ecuador, a summer with abuelitos in Colombia, like, you know.
Okay, fine.
So I did that up until I was like 18, and then I lived in New York for a little bit. I played ball, like, as you know.
Yeah, so I know you from, we have a mutual friend. So Felva could play ball, y'all. Like, me and him, we both grew up playing basketball. So I know, like, through mutual players that we know from playing ball together, coming up, that's how we've known each other. But we've always known each other through basketball and through the club.
And music. Yeah. Because we, you know, our boy Cash, you know, Persevere Dreams, Cash, you know, I played college with him, and that was our mutual friend. But then he told me that you made music. And I remember I had wrote you when I was like maybe 19 or 20. I remember. And I was like, yo, Jeff, you know what I'm saying? He was like, you know, you do your thing on the radio, on Power 96, I think at the time, and I had hit you. I remember that was the first time that I like reached out to you, basically.
Yeah.
Like way back.
That was a long time ago, bro.
I was doing the DJ thing. I was like doing my thing on campus. I was rocking the club. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, for real?
Yeah. So Casey Chops was like, oh, you on the radio? Yeah, let's get it. You know what I'm saying?
That's
you that. That's what I'm saying.
That's
you that guy, bro. You that guy.
So okay, dope. So let's talk about this placement, bro, because I feel like you've been doing your thing, and I feel like your style has kind of leaned Caribbean, right? Like, you kind of like carved out like a Caribbean lane for yourself. I guess, where does that Caribbean influence come from? Because you've been putting out, I feel like that's how the lane you kind of chose to be in, is like that Caribbean, almost like a Major Lazer, like electro Caribbean, you know, Moombahton, dancehall wave.
Yeah. The reggaeton is like right there too.
Yeah,
so it's like dope. It's
so
dope.
where do your influences come from that? Like, why did you start going in that lane?
Miami.
Okay.
You know, like, I owe a lot to Miami, like the city in general, and like it's a place that's very cultured, and there's a lot of Caribbeans here, and it's not just Jamaicans. This could be, or Haitians. It's also like Dominicans. It's just a lot of Spanish people here, and we're Caribbean people. You know, and Ecuador and Colombia, like where I'm from, is also very Caribbean as well. You know, in its own ways. You know what I'm saying? Even though Ecuador is, well, they're both like mountainy Caribbean. Yeah. It's a little different than the islands like Puerto Rico, and stuff, but it's still, you know what I'm saying? La salsa, la grasa. So, basically, you know, growing up in Miami, I grew up around a lot of Jamaicans in my dad's neighborhood, Miami Gardens, you know what I'm saying? And those Jamaicans happen to make music. And, you know, in today's world, you know, the producer that I was like mentored by a lot was Izzy. Izzy, are you kidding me? He made Toast. He made the coffee joint. He's worked with Georgia Smith, Masego. Like, yo, Izzy, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
So that's like my big bro. Like, early on in the years, I was exposed to like FL Studio by this camp, you know, and they were Jamaicans, and they very good musicians, you know, David Lynn, those guys over there. And that's, I learned, like, I grew up with those guys, you know what I'm saying? And one of my main artists that I work with now, Popeye Caution, came from that camp, because, you know, when I started really like making music and whatever the case was, Popeye was around, you know what I'm saying? And Popeye's introduced me now to, he was working with Izzy at the time. We became friends, and you know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of that early influence came from, you know, my Jamaican.
Like, you growing up around Jamaicans.
my Jamaican friends, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So, and then the reggaeton is in our blood. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That's in our blood anyways, growing up in Miami and all that. So, I just think that, like, as things started to actually happen for me, I've always understood kind of like that club Caribbean sound. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. It's just in my, it's like a thing that it's my ears. What I always like making like 100 BPM beats.
Right.
Like, I love 100 BPM. Like,
Right.
if somebody was to ask me what's my favorite
Yeah.
tempo, like,
No, that's a good tempo,
like
man.
100 BPM, I love it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because like, it's just, and you could do a lot of cool stuff from there. You could go up, go down, whatever.
Yeah.
But like Caribbean is always like, you Murder She Wrote, a lot of the Daddy Yankee, all that shit is all like 95, 100
Right,
BPM.
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So a lot of my beats are there, and I just, I ended up going that wave. You know what I'm saying? And my story with my friends, my Jamaican friends and my Spanish friends, it just kind of connected both worlds. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So,
it's easy to connect both worlds.
Yeah.
Like now. So the Yailin record, bro, she's blazing hot right now. Randy is like a perreo legend, bro.
Yeah,
Like you
bro.
put him on your song. I feel like
Yeah.
if you want to like really make your song like perreo, and it's like on the edge, and you need to add someone to make your song more perreo, like Randy is the guy to add. That like his tone just. I feel like it's like he was like his voice was made for like perreo and like reggaeton, like the way his voice is.
No doubt. He has a very unique voice. And Joel y Randy as a duo also. Like, shout out to Joel. I've actually worked with Joel y Randy as solo, like both of them now officially, but as solo artists. I haven't actually worked with Joel y Randy as a duo.
Together? So you work with Joel y Randy, but not Joel y Randy.
Right. I have a record with Joel called Jamaica with Popeye Caution. It's fire. You know what I'm saying? And Joel was like the first like legendary artist to like really like jump on one of my beats, you know. And shout out to Joel. Like that's like, I love Joel, is like my guy, you know what I'm saying? And he showed love. And gave us that Puerto Rico cosign, you know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah.
Which is super dope. But then just throughout the journey, like I've met Randy a few times. I've been in several studio sessions with him. And we always, it just ahora se nos dio, you know what I'm saying? Like right now, like was when it happened. And Randy's just a beast, bro. Like, his voice is so unique. He's got that legendary, voice. And the thing about Randy is like he always finds a way to reinvent himself. Like he just stays lit. You know what I'm saying? He stays lit. He's got that young, fun vibe still, but he's like the OG. So it's been an honor to work with him, bro. And like, honestly, he believes in me, and like he gave me a lot of motivation. Like, and it's been good. It's been good. It's been good.
How did that record come about? The Yailin record?
Yeah. It was the Yailin record was really like, it was really one day I get a phone call from my boy Cars. You know Cars.
Yeah.
So Cars is, shout out to Cars Music, man. That's El Brother. I get a phone call from Cars, and he's like, yo, I got my boy from Puerto Rico, Paulino Rey. He's here. He's in town. Paulino Rey never been here. He's like fresh from Puerto Rico. He's a super dope Puerto Rican artist and songwriter. And he's like, yo, I want to, I'm taking him around, showing him studios, because Cars is, he's the plug, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's the guy in the studios and super talented too. So, he hit me up, and he brings Paulino to my crib, you know what I'm saying? Which is where my studio's at, Maintain Music. So he brings him to Maintain, and I meet him. I had already known about Paulino Rey because I have a record with Echo YG that's coming out very soon on the Sandunguero album, which is a DJ Blaz album. And I have a, that's one of the records that I worked on. And so I knew Paulino Rey, and I knew he was a beast because I heard him. And that's like baby Randy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm talking about Randy, like Randy's lit, love him. This is like baby Randy, but in his own way. It's Paulino Rey, you know what I'm saying? So he sat down, we met, and I played a couple of beats. He was like, dale zumba, you know what I'm saying? Play some beats. I played some beats. You feel me? I played some beats, and there was a beat that he connected with, you know what I'm saying? Which ended up being the Yailin Somos Panas and Randy record. So he picked that. Actually, the first one we were gonna do was another joint, which is a good record. It was a good beat too, but it wasn't this one. You know what I'm saying? So when I played him this one, he's like, nah, the other one. You know what I'm saying? So we ended up doing it, and that's how
So basically,
that's how it started.
Yeah. So basically, Cars was the one who wrote the reference to it, or
Cars brought Paulino to the crib. You know what I'm saying? We was all in the studio. And I played beats, and we all basically worked on the whole, like on the record as a whole. You know what I'm saying? And basically, but Paulino was like the heart and soul of that penmanship. You know what I'm saying?
So then you guys sent it to Randy or Yailin?
So I didn't know that Paulino was really is like one of Randy's go-to guys. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
He's like one of his go-to songwriters, one of his go-to artists. Like he's, you know, Paulino, they have a dope relationship. You know what I'm saying? And great chemistry. So when he had told me that, I said, yo, you should send this to Randy, see what he thinks. And he sent it to him. And Randy responded, he's like, yo, fire,
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I love it. I love it. You know what I'm saying? Let's get it. Next thing I know, I'm in Ecuador like a couple weeks later, like not even like a week later. I'm just visiting family in Ecuador, and he calls me with Randy in the studio. He's like, yo, we in the studio. Randy's about to cut the record. Wow. And I was like, oh, so that to me was already like legendary.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I was like, damn, I had Randy on it. I bet. So he cuts it. I talked to Randy on the FaceTime with Paulino, and it was a movie. And I was like, yo, whatever y'all need stems, like I'm here. They was at Playback Studios. Shout out to Playback Studios. They did a great job engineering the record too. And bro, he cut his verse that night. They sent me like a ref. I was like, all right, bet, dope, fire. I left it alone. I was happy, you know what I'm saying? Whatever, we see what happens. The next day, I get a phone call from Paulino again. He's like, papi, adivina who just jumped on your track. Like, adivina quién se montó en el track. You know what I'm saying? He's like, papi, Yailin se acaba de montar con Randy. I said, nah. You know what I'm saying? Because it's lit. So I was like, damn, okay, cool. So Randy's really the guy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That he's our leader in this record, and he's our guy. He's our, you know, and he's been so cool to work with, bro. And he's been very motivating. I've learned a lot from him, bro, and from Paulino too. Like, very, very talented. So that's how it came about.
That's fire, bro.
That's how that came about. And then, but then, you know, we've been working that record as a team. We've been working that record for like 6 to 10 months. You know, that record's been done.
Oh, so that record's like 10 months old?
Yeah, that record's been done. It's been done. You know what I'm saying? It's just, prior to the record was supposed to come out a few times, but it just, Bing Bong got huge, you know? So when we made that record, it was like pre-Bing Bong. And
so you got, damn, bro.
So
it's always good when that happens,
Somos
when timing aligns to that. So you got Yailin. It would probably be harder to get her now that it blew up so big, you know? I mean, I'm taking, usually, you know what I'm saying? I don't know how good that relationship is between them, but when an artist is, bro, for example, I DJ'd, my boy booked Kendrick Lamar in 2012. It was called the Black Friday Festival. He booked him for 40 G's, right? And then Kendrick dropped Good Kid, Mad City right after he booked him, and Kendrick fucking blew up to like fucking 500,000 to book, and we had him already booked for 40 G's. So he performed when his album was already out, and people, you know what I'm saying? The timing, the way timing works with people that blow up and shit.
It was a blessing for me, bro, and for everybody involved. You know, to get to work with Yailin at the stage of her career that she's at right now, and to do a collaboration with Randy, who's, you know, Randy Nota Loca is extremely legendary, bro, and you know, to just have that record, and it sounds wavy, like, you know, for those that haven't heard the song, like, go check it out, like Somos Panas, Yailin La Más Viral, Randy.
It was good timing, really good timing.
It's good, and it also feels good. You know, she needed a different sound too. You know what I'm saying? She needed a little different sound, so, you know, she sounds great. She sounds great. The song sounds great. And I'm just happy that it's out. You know what I'm saying? You know, the as time went on, we had to make updated versions of the beat and stuff like that. You know, keep it fresh because it happened like a year ago. You know what I'm saying, and stuff like that. So I was able to also work with my boy JS Beats, who's like one of my mentors as well, and he's put me onto like a lot of, you know, production over the years. You know what I'm saying, and you know, it was dope to work with him, you know, hand in hand as well, like co-producing it, and Paulino, and it just felt like a team win. It felt very like I was in a Puerto Rican circle, you know, with like Randy and JS and Paulino and Cars, you know, and like, I'm not Puerto Rican, and I'm very conscious that like reggaeton comes from Puerto Rico as far as like, you know, what it is. And so I love that, you know, me la están dando, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like I'm responding, you know what I'm saying? I'm holding it down well. So the same thing could be said with what's happening on the dancehall side with me. You know what I'm saying? That to me is even, this is awesome. And I love, you know, the reggaeton vibes, and I want to keep doing that. But like, what makes it unique is with what's going on in the
what's going on
in the
over
Caribbean
there? Talk
world.
about it.
Like, before this record, before Somos Panas, Where You Find This, Ding Dong Ravers, Popeye Caution, and Busta Rhymes. Like I produced that joint too. So like this year's been like a crazy year for me as far as like stepping into like getting bigger placements, working with, you know, A-list artists, legendary artists who really have real fan bases, real followings. You know what I'm saying? Like real, and it's just been crazy, a crazy roller coaster, bro, in so many ways. You know what I'm saying?
So where you at now with it musically? Like, what is like the plan? What is your, now you come off this placement right here? Because we kind of both had pretty big placements at the same time.
Yeah,
I just did the El Audio joint, the Cuenta Diez. So like, I just dealt with Rimas, and I'm here like, damn, how do I take this motion that I from this placement and keep the momentum going? Where are you at with it? Like,
I think like right now you have to like just release music. You know what I'm saying? You have to release and just try to involve yourself in as many projects as you can, and try to work with people that you respect, and that, you know what I'm saying, that respect you back, and just want to make real team plays. Because like I was, you know, before this I was telling you, like it takes a team, you know what I'm saying? It's bigger than just you. So right now what I'm working on, my follow-up is a EP with Paulino Rey, who's, as I said,
like production, or you?
No. We're releasing a full out 3-track EP, Felva and Paulino Rey.
Fire.
So we are basically, you know, the production team behind the Somos Panas record. And over the course, that's how we met. But we formed a really dope bond, you know, and over the course of maybe like 2 to 6 weeks of us working on the record, catching vibes, we made maybe 10 records together. And they're all bangers. Yeah. Like it's just bangers, bro. Like, you know, like ridiculous. So like I was like, yo, let's keep this going, you know, because Paulino's a crazy artist. You know, he's Papi, that's Paulino Rey, you know, and so
what else
as his cars, and
Cars
I believe
pen is a beast.
Yeah, as his cars, and the you know, and JS is one of the, you know, he did After Party, Yandel and Balvin right now, and he's the whole Sandunguero 3 album with Blast. That's gonna be crazy. He involved me in that. So the team is good, you know, and we kept it together. You know, a lot of stuff that happens behind the doors, behind the scenes that people don't see. It's very important to have people that you could talk to, people that you could count on for good advice, for solid advice, for sound advice. Just the whole thing is important, you know what I'm saying? So I'm proud of like the guys, you know what I'm saying? I'm proud of everybody. I'm proud of what we did. I'm proud of what we accomplished. This is huge. I want to keep working with Yailin. I got more perreo for Yailin, you know what I'm saying? I got stuff with Randy coming out. Randy's gonna be on the Paulino Rey EP. You know what I'm saying? On our EP, that's hopefully gonna drop in May. So, bro, like, staying active.
So are you sonically? Are you in like the perreo? Like, is that what you've been cooking? Where you've been
sonically? Sonically, like because prior to the reggaeton jump off that I'm doing, I released an EP called Starboy EP with Popeye, and that's in that Starboy EP. Was my record with Joel, you know, and right there we bridged like Puerto Rico with Jamaica, and it was super dope, and that's when I started to really find myself, like, okay, this is cool, like I like this, you know what I'm saying, and an artist, that producer that I follow a lot and I respect and I really like admire is Russian, you know what I'm saying? Like Russian is somebody that's been doing
connecting the Caribbean, Jamaican with the Latin.
Yeah, and he's done it in a really cool way, and I, you know, it's like I respect that, you know what I'm saying, and I like that, and the difference is that he's Jamaican, I'm Latino. And the Latinos opened up the door for Russian, you know, like Bad Bunny, the Crippy Kush, like all those records. It's like, you know, the Latinos showing love there now. Because of his history, he's still releasing. He just dropped, I think, with Young Miko and I'm not sure if it was one of the it was Young Miko and Claren, or Young Miko and Omar Courts, one of these guys, or I'm not sure, but one of the newer guys, De La Nueva, and but then he'll turn around and drop with Skilly Bang and Shensia, and like that to me is dope. That's, you know, it's fire. But who's doing that in the Latin world? Me.
Yeah.
I'm doing that in the Latin world. That's Felva, and that's when I'm like, okay, bet. So right now, I'm in the studio making like a lot of dancehall, a lot of the street like dancehall trap stuff that's going on. That's kind of wavy. I got some dope stuff working with Ding Dong. I got 3 records coming out on Ding Dong's 4 records coming out on Ding Dong's album, which drops May 2nd. From
Fire.
Ding Dong to World Ding.
Fire.
Huge. Ding Dong's first ever album. You know what I'm saying? He's a pillar in the dancehall community, bro.
Yeah,
you know, like you can mention Vibes Cartel, Busy Signal, Beanie Man, Ding Dong. Like these are names that you cannot talk about dancehall. So to me, that's dope. And the way Jamaicans have just opened the doors up. Like I could go to Kingston and be good. Like I'm good in Kingston. You know what I'm saying? Like and we have music more coming out with them. So I just want to kind of keep doing this because that's
Just
who's showing me love.
Just playing both worlds, basically.
Yeah, but that's I'm just working with the people who have shown me love, and it's just happened this way. It's just happened this way. You know what I'm saying? And it's dope. So it's dope, and I just want to realize what's. Sometimes you got to take. It's hard to realize what you have going on around you. You got to kind of like take yourself out of it and analyze it to really understand your brand and really understand where you're going, bro. Because you have to do a lot of self-analysis. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because you have to know where you're going. You have to know where you've been.
Right.
What relationships you have, what's your territories, where your strengths are. You know what I'm saying? I love producing all types of music, bro. But it's like, you know, like
you gotta sonically kind of be pick a lane, you know, unless you're Diplo. He's like the only one that I know that could like get away with doing whatever the fuck he wants, bro. He's doing like country music now, bro. Like
and as you know, I have records with Major Lazer, bro. Like a lot of my early support before the Starboy EP with Popeye, like a lot of my early support was Major Lazer. You know what I'm saying? Like I dropped a record with Walshy Fire and Reina Leona like maybe 6-7 years ago, and it did really well in Spain, and that was just me and Walshy building off on our own, you know, and Reina and him bringing an artist, you know, that was like my own thing.
Yeah.
DJing at Rum and Bass, you know what I'm saying, on Tuesdays, like staying around that. So like the dancehall influences have been there for me from the jump, from Rum and Bass, from Miami, from Popeye, from Izzy, from, you know what I'm saying? Like it's just been there. Like I did all the Jamaican parties when I was 19, 20, like 18, like those were my friends. So that's where I was going to party. When I first started DJing, I was DJing at the Jamaican parties at Truck Stop and Gabby's and Pembroke Pines. Like I'm
Truck Stop.
Yeah, bro. Like Dutty Dex was the first. Popeye put me on. Was like, yo, you want to DJ out here? I was like, he's like, okay, cool. I'm gonna link you with Dutty Dex, and next thing I'm with Dutty Dex and Gabby's. Like random.
Wow. Damn, Truck Stop is, for the people that don't know, like in South Florida, if you go east is the beach, right? But if you go all the way west, you're in the Everglades and shit. And the road that goes all the way in the middle of nowhere is called 27. And that shit is basically the Everglades, like where all the alligators, a swamp. And there's a little random ass, like on this one road, like a truck stop, basically. It's like one of those trucks that you would see. And it's like one of the most, but there's like a venue there, and it's like one of the most popping Jamaican parties
on a Sunday
that you could go
like
to,
on a
bro.
Sunday night, you know, like on a Sunday
west,
night,
all the way west, crazy.
Yeah. So you know that influence has been there, bro. It's been there from the jump, and it's dope. It's dope to bridge it. It's dope, and also like somebody that I have to shout out is my boy Malone. Like I'm not sure if you're into you know, I mean, I know you're doing the house music stuff, but my boy Malone was a huge support. Like Felva supported early on. Like he's killing it right now. He's got the residency at Space. He's doing Ibiza. He's like, and he's just kind of like been, you know, like another supporter in Miami. Like when I got to Miami, like because I played ball in New York and I did my college in New York. And I tried to, you know, stay in New York, but it just wasn't working out. Like New York is just too much of a grind. I was like, I got to be close to my family. Like it's too cold. I'm not seeing it here. You know, I was in a little college where it was small and like it was great because I was like the man. You know, I was like the DJ and I was on the hoop squad and everything was controlled there. But then you go into like New York, Manhattan for real, Queens for real. And you're like, damn, this ain't Manhattanville no more. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I stayed up there. It was cool. And I had the job. I had the job at ADP, the corporate job in Manhattan, and it was dope. But and it was cool. But I ended up stepping away from that and trying to make it. And in New York, and it was like a 2-month thing. I was like, Mom, I gotta come back home. That's how it started. You know what I'm saying? But when I came back here, I got a job at ADP again in Fort Lauderdale, and I sat next to Malone. And Malone was like always into DJing and shit like that, but I didn't know who he was. Malone nowadays is Malone Music. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So early on when I started DJing at Space, when it was like more of the basement and Red Rabbit was doing all that stuff, the hip hop stuff. I was doing that because Malone was getting those gigs and he was putting me on. You know, he was like, "Yo, I'm gonna spin this for Felva," you know, thang. And it was dope. So it's been a journey, bro. It's been a journey, and it's dope also to do this podcast, like because it's Miami on the rocks. You know what I'm saying? It's Miami on the rocks,
that,
and what is this that I'm sipping? The hibiscus and
bro,
rum.
my girl be making is it hibiscus?
Hibiscus.
Is it hibiscus water? She makes water and makes it like a hibiscus. Yeah, hibiscus, bro. It's cool.
She put a little rum in it. It tastes delicious.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Fire, bro.
So Somos Panas is out. It's doing well. Where you find this? Killed it. You know, I had Busta Rhymes on that record. Was crazy, dog. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we did the whole video in New York. The video was a movie. It was dope. So it's been cool, but it's also been very stressful, man, because to get these records through the door, there's a lot of moving parts, a lot of moving pieces that people don't understand, bro, and it's just been a roller coaster.
It's hard, bro. The business side of it is tough, man. Like, everybody's so oversaturated, bro. Everybody's trying to do this shit. So,
yeah,
you know, it's just economics 101, bro. The DJ shit is, you know, getting cheapened. Everyone's a DJ now. Everyone's a producer. The barrier of entry is so low. Like, anyone could grab a laptop and you know, just say they're a DJ now. So, or a producer, you know, it gets tricky. So yeah, bro, consistency is key. You know, social media kind of changed everything too, and streaming. So now it's like you got to just be flooding, bro, constantly flooding shit. You know, unless you're Bad Bunny and you can chill. But like, yeah, for the most part, you got to be putting out shit all the time, and it's gonna take a minute, bro. Before you know, before you start seeing.
It takes a while to find yourself too. Like I did a whole year, like while you know I was always DJing, producing. Then I did a whole year of releasing music as an artist because I rap, I sing too. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's like I did that and it was cool. But it was like a different lane. I saw it. All right, so like now it's like, you know, I know I could do it, but am I really gonna go into singing? And then I put myself artistry mode. It's a whole different ball game, you know. And so like when you start seeing like what you can do, what you know, like what with the building or getting on a record as an artist is much more difficult than to get in as a producer. Like, if I have these records with Ding and these guys, you know, and it's like if I wanted to sing or rap, I could do it, but it's like it's much harder to like be like, yo, let me be an artist on the record, like and put your vocals on it. You know what I'm saying? Versus just like helping that artist out and placing a beat that you connect with and building a relationship. So like I took a step back. I think in 2023, I was doing a lot of like self-releasing Felva releases. I've always done Felva remixes. I've been heavy on the record pools. Like I've always put out like substance, bro. Like always, like for over 10 years, I've been doing that. You know what I'm saying? One way or another. And I just think that like when I was releasing on my own, I was spending a lot of bread like to marketing, doing this, doing that. I was in a whole another lane. And I just feel like when I got on with Ding and I got like a good placement and I saw like the reaction that people had towards my actual music, I had never gotten that type of reaction before because now I'm actually working with an artist who has a legitimate platform, fans that appreciate taking his consume that music on a different level, which is the level that I make my music with, like the love, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, and so like it was really nice to just kind of hear my beat over a Ding record and not even force myself on it. Like, oh, it's, you know what I'm saying? I gotta have like just letting it be a Ding record and like forming part of that greatness and going on tour with him. I went to Costa Rica with him. You know what I'm saying? Like I was like, you know, with him and Papa and everybody. And it's just like, it was very cool. You know what I'm saying? It's like you're Costa Rica and people singing your record, you know what I'm saying? And the Ding Dong show, it's fire, like, bro. It's like, what's happening right now?
In your production, do you use, so let's get like producer geek talk, do you use FL Studio, Ableton? What do you like to use your DAW?
I use FL Studio.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a FL Studio guy.
Me too.
But I know Pro Tools, and I've had stages where I use Pro Tools where I don't. In Puerto Rico, everybody records on Pro Tools, and all the artists, they record themselves, bro. Randy records himself. Like when I work with Randy, I put my laptop there before he gets to the studio. I make sure that there's no glitching. I make sure the plugins is where they need to be. I put basic basic little settings on it, not too much, because I want to hear his voice, and I'm just trying to get a clean recording. And he's very particular about his recordings. Like, he won't record unless there's a certain like chain in the studio.
Okay.
Like if you don't have that chain, he'll do it, but you ain't gonna, like, he's not gonna enjoy it the way Randy Nota Loca enjoys it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like, you need that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Real.
You need that. So whatever, I just make sure, like, that's good, but that's Pro Tools. So I've had to get versed with the Puerto Ricans. I've had to get versed, you know what I'm saying? In Pro Tools.
So FL Studio, what are you sample based? Studio, what type of VST? What type of plugins you using?
I've always done remix. I come from the world of remixing music, so I've always sampled stuff, like whether that's remixing a song from back in the day, whatever, and then like, then doing that into like originals or whatever the case, or mashups. Like, I've always been DJ oriented, and I think that's one of the perks of my production, and that really any DJ producer probably has versus a regular producer. Not to take anything away from it,
right.
but I just think that when you're in the club, you have a different type of ear, you have a different type of feel for music.
Right.
You know what's big, what's not, what hits and what doesn't, and it also translates to your production. So I started remixing a lot. I've always had I'm not musically like classically trained.
You're like a sampler.
But I wouldn't say that. Like, I know how to play the piano.
Okay.
I sit there, I find my chord progressions. A lot of my production nowadays is just 7-8 layers of me playing different melodies, different things. You know what I'm saying? Using my VSTs, contact, using like, you know what I'm saying? And then using AI also to my advantage. Like, whenever I feel like I have like a good base of melodies, top lines, then I might go into like the arcade. You know what I'm saying? Into the splice. Yeah. And I might
just renewed my shit for a year for 90, but I wanted to cancel that shit. I didn't know they were going to automatically renew me, bro. I wanted to get rid of arcade, bro.
Really? I like it.
Bro.
I like
it's cool. Bro, I'm heavy on the Nexus. I just got Nexus, bro. Heavy on the Nexus, and I fuck with Serum. Those are like the ones.
Those are good plugins to be in now, because I feel like a lot of old school music is resuscitating, and Nexus was big in the 90s. Nah, but
Nexus
2000s.
just came out with Nexus 5. So it's all new shit. It's and it's its actual synth now.
Yeah.
Nexus is lit, bro.
I love sampling. And I do it very well. Almost too well sometimes, apparently. But I've been really like I haven't been using Splice too much like that. And if I do, it hasn't been like for like a huge lead or anything like that. Have I done it in the past? Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I fuck with it, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes I sample, sometimes I splice, sometimes I make stuff from scratch. Like, I don't limit myself, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't limit myself. I just kind of, you know what I'm saying? I just kind of go, I attack and see what
I started
comes out.
sampling too, bro. And so I'm a sampler. Like, I could definitely like program a fire chord progression and when I need to, get a bass line in and shit. But I like the main idea to be a sample. Like, the first thing that I plug in is a sample, and then we'll build around it,
Right.
That's why Splices changed the game, because now you could just royalty free samples, bro.
Yeah, and they're amazing, and it gets to a point where it's like, my only issue is they're just very overused and they're very accessible and it's very big within the producer community.
One of the biggest Afro house songs is the Splice sample. When you say it's crazy, because I've never heard a lot of, as easy it is, I think, to say that, I'm trying to think where I've heard like multiple uses of the same sample in Splice. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't think of one, like a song that I've heard where it's like, yo, they're using the same Splice sample.
I have. I've heard a ton of them.
Yeah. I haven't heard.
I've heard a
like
ton
vocals
of them.
or like
Anuel has one. I can't remember which one it is.
Like, it's a vocal sample, or like
Nicky Jam has one. Yeah. There's a few, bro. There's a few.
Yeah.
And I've trust me, bro. And that's the thing with me, is like, it's just very accessible, and it's very I'm getting to a point in my career, like, like the art itself is very important. Like, and I feel like I'm getting to a point in the career where it's like, I did a lot of splicing before, and I did a lot of sampling, a lot of remixing and stuff like that. And that turned me off, hearing like the same sample in different records when I heard it in real life. It was like, oh shit, it kind of made me feel like like I wasn't really that fire. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like I
yeah.
wasn't really that fire, and like to me, it's like it's cool. You could still kill it. You know what I'm saying? You can still do it, and I've done it. So I'm
Yeah.
not downplaying it, but I'm just saying like it's a different type of brag when you just, you know what I'm saying? And maybe it's because my boy JS, he's like my
You're
mentor.
saying like
He's
sampling
more of like a
something
pure,
that someone hasn't sampled already.
yeah, just like I think that like I think sampling is like something that there's a culture for it. There's like it's like it's like there's a whole thing for it, right? And like Splice is essentially a library full of samples, but I don't know, dog. Like it just feels very anyone could use it, anyone could do it. You know how to manipulate it. What you were saying, you sort everything by key, you sort everything by genre, you sort everything by. It's like almost too easy. It's like doop 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 doop.
No, but
I'm
see
a producer.
that's one thing where I always tell people that in the splice, like I don't if I'm making a house record and I need a sample, like a vocal sample, I'm not gonna go to house vocal samples. I'm gonna take like a fucking
Right, you have to you have to use it. You have to use it wisely. Like
Right.
yeah, you have to be deep. I do it all the time. I get random dancehall shit, but I'm not typing in dancehall. I'm typing in tech house.
Yeah.
And I'm doing dancehall.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and like that's the vibe. But even then, what I'm saying is even then it's just different, dog. Like it's just different, dog. I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah,
You
when
know
you're
what I'm saying?
using a sample,
Like it's just different, dog. You know what I'm saying? Like I think of like the like, and there's hits with samples and bro, they're great. Trust me, they have a space. You know what I'm saying? There's a space for it.
But I've had
But-
friends like I have
The Splice thing, I'm not like a Splice hater. I'm not a Splice. I'm just confused about Splice. I'm confused about
I
it.
have just like big producer friends that they say like if you're a sampler and once you start giving up your publishing and those checks are way smaller, you're
Yeah.
gonna be like, damn. You're gonna think to yourself, could I have
Listen.
made this without the sample?
Listen,
So
listen. I'm
you know?
I'm on that wave to the point where you don't even understand. I've had to recreate things, and it's been crazy. But with that being said, on a business side is definitely much easier. But you could, you can always get inspired by something. You can always, but you still got to go in deeper than you got to go in. You got to go in. So, yeah, bro. Like right now I'm using FL. My vocal recording is happening in Pro Tools. You know what I'm saying? I'm using Contact like crazy. I just have the latest Contact. I like the sounds in Contact. And just little tricks, bro, little magic over the years, you know what I'm saying? I got, those little trips to Jamaica, those trips to Puerto Rico. You get in studios with people and you come up on things, you know what I'm saying? You come up on magic that's part of your library, part of your story, you know what I'm saying? So like the Felva sound library is very Felva, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And stuff like that. And swaps, producer swaps, producer swaps are big. And working with people as a co-producer too. Like I'm in a bunch of co-producer situations. I'm bringing people onto co-producing situations and just building, you know what I'm saying? Building, working as a team and just understanding the movement, the brand. Because like, I was gonna say something regarding Splice. Like if somebody makes a beat using a Splice sample and they use a Splice sample, and it ends up being a hit record, like, good for that person, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you was able to get your mama a crib using a Splice sample, bro, shout out to Splice, you know what I'm saying? So it's like in real life, like outside of like producer community and purist and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like, bro, like, you know what I'm saying? But it is also like art, you know what I'm saying? And I get that too. So I try to have a balanced out. Like my music catalog is very balanced out, bro.
Yeah.
Like I don't gotta
My
flex
thing
on
is,
nobody.
bro, I think a sample is a sample, bro. You know what I mean? Like, and then you got to remember everything is sampled. Like, you're using drum sounds that are samples from other songs.
Right.
You know what I mean? So the sampling discussion gets a little tricky. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It gets a little tricky.
Yeah.
But
But we lit, bro. Like can't
Yeah,
nobody play
yeah.
with me, dog. Like you go to the
Yeah.
studio, you see what time it is. Like you know what I'm
Talk
saying.
about
I'm good, bro. You know what I'm saying. Like,
Talk
my
your
shit, my shit speaks for itself, dog. You know what I'm saying.
fire.
Yeah,
Yo,
man.
Felva, I appreciate you pulling up. Plug all your social media, plug
Yeah, no doubt. Mi gente, Felva reportándome, Miami on the rocks. Casey Chops, my brother. You know,
my G.
You know what it
You
is.
good?
Yeah. Listen, y'all can follow me at Dimelo Felva everywhere. Felva everywhere. We got an EP coming out in a month with Paulino Rey. We got Yailin, Randy, Somos Panas out. We got Where You Find This, Ding Dong, Busta Rhymes, Pop by Caution out. Ding Dong album drops May 2nd. My birthday is May 3rd, so that's a blessing. It's gonna be a nice little celebration. I'll be probably in Jamaica. And yo, man, just my advice would be life, music, everything is a roller coaster. And you just gotta know, like, there's gonna be highs and there's gonna be lows, bro. And you can't, when you're high, you can't get too high. And when you're low, you can't get too low. You gotta like focus on maintaining, staying level-headed. You know what I'm saying? So maintain music. We're here.
Dimelo Felva, Casey Chops, Miami on the rocks. Bow.
KC Chops, boy.